Alright guys, let's get our 30 horsepower on here. Welcome back, Jazz. Just got her fixed. Let's talk about it. Guys, welcome to this episode of Rolling with T-Bone. If you're new here, welcome in. My name's T-Bone. I shoot motorcycle related content and any kind of content really. If you are new here, I invite you to check out a few of my videos. If you think I'm right for you, consider giving us a subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. If you're old here, welcome back. You know what's going on. Let's dive into it. All right, guys, as we leave town on Jazz, man, finally got over here, and Milkman and Jay had to get her back up on the lift and put a new tube in her tire. Oh, so today's tale, as you've seen by the thumbnail and the header, we're going to talk cautionary tale here just a little bit if we can. We're several episodes into the cryptid series, and I want to throw caution out there because in my studying that I've done and my research and stuff like that, I want to use caution and say we can't always say, or we can't always apply Occam's razor to the cryptid world. And for those of you who may not be familiar with what Occam's razor is the belief of the simplest answer is the right answer. Man, when it comes to cryptids, guys, it's really hard to apply that. The simplest answer is the right answer. It really is. It's hard to apply that. So I use caution by saying, applying Occam's razor to that, because here's where the problem that I have begins with that. If we say the simplest answer is the right answer, then what you do is in essence, you close the door. You've said emphatically that there's no more conversation to be had. This is the answer. And that's where I draw a problem. And that's where I also draw a problem with science. Because if science can't come up with a viable reason for something or a viable answer for something, then they will simply just apply Occam's razor to it and they just close out the conversation. So my problem with science is and I'm not, now let me make a disclaimer here. I'm not saying by what I'm about to say, I'm not suggesting or saying that science is bad. I think science has its place. I say it has its importance. My problem is how much just leeway gets given to science. And what I mean by that is science, to me, and again, these are just my personal opinions, to me, science is the best case scenario, okay? Well, not the best case, it's the best guess scenario. And that's where I've always drawn a problem with, if they'll dig a bone up and they'll say, this bone is 60 million year old. Well, how do you come to that conclusion? They say, well, by how deep it was buried in the earth, or the dermal ridges on the bone. No, what you're doing there is that some guy a few hundred years ago sat down in a book and he wrote down what he thought the best guess was, and science took it for fact, and there's no more conversation to be had about it. It's science fact. That's where I draw the line. So when it comes to cryptozoology, when it comes to the study of cryptids, scientific data is important. Don't get me wrong, it is, especially when you have a beginning point of reference, meaning this is this, so you go forward from the starting point of you know what's what. You know this is this, and this is the starting point, and this is where we start from. And what I was saying about the science of it is, about science in general, science sat down and, you know, their starting points came from a best guess scenario. My problem, again, and again, this is just my problem, but my problem is when you try to say, well, I don't think that's right. No, it's scientifically proven. No, what it is, it's not really that it's scientifically proven. It's just that 300 or 400 years ago, or 500 years ago, or even 2,000 years ago, some guy sat down with a book and he wrote this stuff down, and he applied what he thought the scientific method was, and then from then on, for all scientists to study the same thing afterwards, it becomes law. It's science fact. There's no, it's irrefutable. Everything is refutable. You don't know if those bones are 60,000 years old. I mean, let's just be honest. And then they'll grab a fossil, they'll say, look, fossil, this fossil is 100 million years. No, you don't know that. Come on. I mean, let's just be real. But my problem with science is, like I said, is it's not with the scientific method. I think science is very important, but don't say that something is this way and it can't be no other way, because in essence you have applied Occam's razor to the situation, and now there's no more room for conversation. There's no more room to, you know, investigate further that, hey, that maybe this ain't right. Maybe what we don't know is right. And that's why you don't hear a lot about discovery, because they don't want to have to admit, meaning the scientific world community, don't want to have to admit that they got it wrong, or that their logic that they applied to it was somehow fallible. It wasn't flawless. It was wrong. So then, in essence, you know, what I'm saying is, don't just take a blunt word for it. Don't just take my word for it. Do a little research for yourself, and then come up with your own decision. So now you may be asking, T-Bone, why the words? When it comes to cryptozoology, the study of Bigfoot, the study of, you know, Dogman, Grassman, whatever cryptid, you know, science is so fast to say it don't exist. We don't have a fossil. You know, it don't exist because we can't see it. And that's the scientific method of applying Occam's razor. They only believe what they can see. And that's why I draw a big problem with science. Sometimes you just have to take things on faith. But when it comes to cryptozoology, I mean, look guys, there's too many videos, too many pictures, too many eyewitness accounts. And then people say, well, you can't use eyewitness accounts. Okay, well, yeah, well then think about this. Why is it in a court of law they bring in witnesses to testify either for you or against you? So if witness testimony is inadmissible, then why do they use it in a court of law? So, you know, you know, witness information is very important, and that goes back. If you will remember, when I did the episode of the Chupacabra, I had said, for those of you paying attention, I had said in that episode that, going by the reports that were given, I would tend to go, I believe in all of these scenarios, and all these situations, all these cryptids, the first description is the right one. I have found that in my research, the first description is usually the right one. That's usually the right one. So, but it don't always have to be there, because then you get to mistaken identity, mistaking one creature for another creature. So, and I don't want to, and I have said this before in videos, and y'all have heard me say it, I don't want to give you misinformation. I don't want you to say, well, I went and looked that up for my own self, T-Bone, and you were completely wrong. I want to make sure when I do these episodes of Cryptids of North America that I have done my research. I kind of know what I'm talking about, and I'm not misleading you, because ultimately what I am not doing is applying Occam's razor to anything, because the simplest answer, most likely in all of these scenarios, the simplest answer isn't going to be the answer. I've seen that in my own case. And, you know, science will say, well, it was a bear, or it was this, it was that, it was anything but what it might actually be, and that's Bigfoot. So that's why science draws such a hard line on cryptozoology, and why scientists will try to ostracize any scientist who shows a interest in the study of cryptozoology. They become ostracized. But that's just kind of, I wanted to put this video out there just to say that, you know, sometimes the simplest answer is the right answer. But be careful using that, because when you say this is undoubtedly, emphatically what it is, there's no other option, then you close the door. You close the door for conversation. You close the door for study. A lot of times people will just quit studying a subject because somebody's already said, well, this is it, this is what it is. So then there's no more need for study. And I'm not with that. I'm not for that. I don't like that principle. I think that as long as your curiosity's there, you know, my answer may not be the right answer. You may come up, you know, 20 years from now and say, well, you know, we found this out about that answer you had 20 years ago. But we found this, and something's not right, because you're not adding up with what, you know, you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. But I think my rear brake's going to have to be bled a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's just a caution. It's just caution going forward. You know, as we do these episodes and we get into this series further. And if you ever catch me doing that, then say, hey, don't apply the razor right here, T-Bone. So, but man, I'm back on Jazz, guys. Jazz is home. She's been home. She's just been sitting with us. And they couldn't find, there wasn't no shredded in the tube, so I may have ran across something that just punctured it enough to cause the tire to leak down. But she got a tube in her now. I missed her. Missed my Road King. Poor old John, the Road Glide, retired Road Glide rider now. He used to be a cool kid with a nice Road King, like Edzilla, second cousin Ray Ray, and Dave over in Australia, Slick Ed, who's got a Road King. He used to be a cool kid like the rest of us, but no, he had to go join that Road Glide crowd. Oh, but anyway, guys, just shorter video. I just kind of wanted to touch on this, and you know, I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving last week. Moving on in through the holiday season. Before you know it, hopefully we'll get past Christmas, and then we'll get past the first of the year, and maybe spring won't be so long getting here, hopefully. But I'll tell you what, guys, I think that's going to wrap this episode up. Y'all remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. Give us a chance to give us a subscription. Go check out a few of our videos. If you like what you see, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. But until the next time, guys, y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And hey, thanks for watching.